Hello, I'm Abhinav, and I will give a brief introduction about myself. I come from India and I'm studying biomedical engineering in Chaveyote as an Erasmus student. And I chose to prepare my presentation on the topic of history of photography because I really like photography and I thought it would be really interesting to share the history and how photography was emerged. So the word photography in Greek means drawing with light. So let's see how we draw with light and how we invented the whole science and art of drawing with light. So the first of all, the word photography was coined by Sir John Herschel in 1839. Not really when photography was invented, but invented in spirit. It wasn't really invented in spirit in 1839. It was invented long before because a lot of developments were going on. But it was a time when it was really gonna go commercial, and it was popularized during those ages. So here we got the word photography. So now we go long before even the word photography was coined, and we started the whole journey with camera obscura, which was basically a dark room. You had a dark room, and we will see, as you can see in the previous picture here, that you have a dark room, and you get the images inside the dark room, and this whole big dark room is basically a pinhole camera which uses the laws of reflection and refraction and forms the images inside. This camera was really uh, used by a lot of artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci to make better paintings, to study the surroundings, to study human bodies on 2D, because those times there wasn't really any means to study things on a piece of paper, you apart from painting. So to improve your paintings, this device was really helpful because you could picture the 3D environment on a 2D surface. So this was one of the paintings which was done in 1660 using the camera obscura. This just to get better perspective. I think the artists were really were using it, and you here as well. You can see we started to make the whole big dark room into a portable box so that you can carry it or use it more reliably. So now we were already picturing, like we were having the pictures in the form of light, but we have to invent a method to capture the light on film. So let's see the how it went. So in 1727, Johann Henry he explored that silver salts were darkened when exposed to light. And Thomas Wedgwood was another great man who was doing sun pictures where he was using the similar chemicals to make paintings, or not really pictures but similar to pictures like negatives, using leaves and other material, and using this light sensitive material to form the silhouette of the surfaces. And this is now finally we are going to see, we see the first ever image which was taken in the history of mankind, which was in France. Also it was taken with the help of camera obscura. So now slowly we will shift to talk about the daguerreotype, which was gonna give rise to the modern photography and really advanced technology, which led to digital cameras ultimately. So what is daguerreotype? So daguerreotype was the same thing which was done in the camera obscura, but here we, instead of using the wall, we were using silver coated plate, copper plate with silver iodide coatings to form images on it. And it was a method which really got popularized, and as it was improved, it started to be used as a method for making portraits. And during this time, a lot of artists lost a lot of jobs because people, instead of making their paintings, they rather were happy to just take a picture because it was even more perfect than paintings. So it was the first daguerreotype camera was designed by obviously Mr. Daguerre, the inventor of daguerreotype, in 1839. You see, the year is when the first camera was designed and commercialized, and it was quite large. Yes. So again, it was really a privilege to have portraits from these cameras because they were really expensive. So only popular and rich people could get the chance to make portraits of themselves and their families. And when it was civil war in America, the First World War, it was a really challenging job for the photographers to document everything. So it was a great endeavor for by the photographers when they were carrying their whole equipments, their tripods, their dark rooms to all these dangerous places where war was going over, to just to document the history. And now it comes the era of Kodak. We all know Kodak, and Kodak is it was the legend for the whole cameras. It was Kodak was the company Kodak was formed by George Eastman Kodak, and the name of the company was Eastman Dry Plate Company in New York in the year of 1880. And uh, Kodak for photographs was the first photograph which was used in a daily newspaper. So Kodak really aspired to make cameras affordable, and they actually did it. In 1888, they could make a camera for the price of $25, and you could get the pictures out of them by giving back the camera to the company for $10. And their dream came true, and they came up with the first brownie camera, which was really affordable. And you can see the first like the first few pictures taken from the brownie camera, and you can see the shape of the image is in a form of circle, just as the shape of the hole, the aperture of the camera, as it is also a circle. And now Kodak came up with photographic films instead of using photosensitive plates like copper plates or even more complex things. We had film for the first time, which was a much easier way to um, uh, just capture our pictures in a form of negatives, and then you can make even colored or black and white pictures out of them in a lab. Uh, so it's really important to talk about color photographs because until 1860 it wasn't really possible to have color photographs, and they used three different like color. different color sensitive films like can, magenta, and yellow, and the mixture of all these three colors would give you a vibrant color photograph. And Polaroid was also a breakthrough where the first camera came in the market when you could get your pictures instantly in your hand. Just by a click, you will get a picture in your hand. You need not go to labs anymore to develop your negatives. And soon we were really near to digitalize our photography, and it was led by Mr. Russell, and you could see this picture was like the first picture where photograph was digitalized, and it was 176 into 176 uh, pixels in resolution. And there were different other techniques which came along, like CCD, and Kodak scientists were really actively working to develop the digital photography at the same time. And this was also in the year of 1983 when Kodak came with the first disc camera. And now, when we had our uh, cameras which were able to digitalize the pictures, uh, the another breakthrough was the web and social media, along with digitalization, where the pictures started to be used as a form of emotions, and we started to use pictures much more in our daily lives, from sharing our morning breakfast to our mood. And it became really easy to share pictures among the community. And here are some references which I used to prepare my whole presentation. And thank you very much for your time. I hope you liked my presentation and got to learn something.